Today, from the edge of the Everglades, it's 6-ton racing predators lurking in the swamp, ready to mash the gas and put it on full kill as Alligator Alley becomes a battlefield for Bigfoot, tourists, and that swamp thing, snakebite. It's a side-by-side monster truck shootout from Naples, Florida, coming up next. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the superstars of the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Nationals Monster Truck Challenge. Welcome to Trucks and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network. Today we're at Florida Sports Park in Naples for the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Suncoast Nationals. Hi everybody, I'm Gary Lee alongside Army Armstrong. And Army, I think perhaps one of the most unique vehicles in all of motorsports are right here in Southern Florida.
That's a very good bet. For years, I thought Southern California had the unique vehicles. Well, they do when it comes to chrome and candy apple. But mud and monsters, I got to give them a nod to South Florida. Speaking of people in South Florida, I want you to look over your right shoulder. That is kind of what started it all. Not the guy in the yellow hat, but the vehicle he's sitting in. They used to go out and hunt out of vehicles like that. Then it evolved to where they started racing. The vehicle in the middle we're standing in front of. They go quick on the world's fastest mile of mud. But today, they're not going to be in the mud. They're not going to be in the water. They're going to be flying. Time to roll the monsters in South Florida, Gary.
Side-by-side monster truck competition from the south of Florida coming up next. The fans here in Florida love their motorsports, and these folks here in Naples are getting their first look at the monsters. We have concluded qualifications. We are ready now for side-by-side monster truck racing as we take a look at the pairings for round one. Bigfoot, to no one's surprise, the fast qualifier. Andy Brass goes up against the Black Stallion. It's also King Krunch against High Expectations. Also in round one, Taurus, the third quick qualifier, against No Problem. And Snakebite, Colt Cobra against the Boss Gator. It's the Carolina Crusher and Tropical Thunder. Then the first round fast loser advances to round two. And there is a look at Andy Brass in Bigfoot 8.
Gary, this is a unique situation because normally the area they're running on is under 3 or 4 feet of water. They've actually drained the pond to make this track, and these people are going to have a chance, like you said in the opening, to see some racing like they've never seen before. They're used to seeing them go through the water and go through the mud. It's going to be like a miniature Air Force here before the day's over, I believe.
There's Mike VATERS out of Maryland. He has had a long tow to be with us here in Naples, Florida. So it's Ford against Ford. The Black Stallion in their lane, the far lane, Bigfoot 8, the fast qualifier.
Well, Gary, they both may be forced, but there is a difference. The difference is in the suspension of the truck. New suspension far side.
Well, Andy Brass has no problem at all because there's a breakage in the Black Stallion. So Mike VATERS with a mechanical problem. Andy Brass, the fast qualifier, was not even tested there. As we take a look again, you mentioned the suspension. It allows the truck to settle down. He gets back on the power. He has the horsepower. He takes the victory. Now some comments from Andy Brass.
Andy, first guy on a new track, what's it feel like out there?
Well, the track's a little different. You know, we kind of looking at when we come out. They put in a bunch of new cars and stuff. You know, it's packed between the cars. It seems like we're getting a little bit better traction. It don't feel that bad, but I tried to miss all the cars down at the end because I didn't want to take a chance of catching the last car, maybe flipping me up in the air.
Well, Andy Brass has the horsepower to do exactly that, so he will advance to round two as we take a look at the auto value King Krunch of Scott Stevens. Look at his driving position right in the middle of the cockpit, driving the GMC out of Woodlands, Texas. That is actually a mid-engine vehicle, and he's parked right in the middle of the cockpit. He goes up against a Toyota. That's a Toyota body, but a 454 Chevrolet power plant.
You got to give the nod. That's Scott Palmer. He's a Jacksonville, Florida area guy. He wants to run with these fellas, but I think you're going to have a real good opportunity here to see what a traveling pro truck is like, the auto value truck is Stevens, and a guy that's trying to work his way into the sport. There is a difference. A lot of people don't realize the technology in the newer trucks. These guys are serious.
It's like a local driver in a sprint car going up against a USAC regular, or the World of Outlaws when they come to town.
Exactly.
But the fans certainly showed their appreciation, and there is a Scott Stevens who has certainly had his difficulties over the past couple of years. He's been upside down more than I think any other driver, perhaps more than all the other drivers combined. But he has an easy victory here over a local driver from Jacksonville.
At the finish line, Stevens hooks left, but look at the guy on the left lane. He's coming around to the right. His steering went completely away, Gary.
Yeah, look at the rear steer on that Toyota truck as they go away from you now. Watch Scott Stevens as he veers off to the left. And look at the problem with the Toyota. They're kind of square dancing. They're crisscrossing. Here's Scott.
Gary, this guy I'm standing with experience what Andy Brass was talking about, that being not clearing the last set of cars and the rear end actually clipping that last car and springing you up.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it really hit pretty hard, and I drove her just as far as I could all the way out the very back because never did really feel that stable. But that was a real good run for us, and, you know, real happy didn't hurt no parts, and we're going another round.
We'll see you in that round.
All right, thank you, Army.
Round one continues now, Army. We take a look at Big John Moore out of Tennessee, and no problem. That is the Ford Bronco, a short wheelbase, an older style suspension. Truck bounces a lot. John out of Lafayette, Tennessee. And also, he goes up against the youngster from Granite City, Illinois. This is Taurus. The driver is Eldon DEPEW. His uncle, Uncle Jack Willman Sr., the owner of Taurus.
John Moore has a chance here. He's the old timer. He's been around. He's going against a new kid. He will take his time and try to rattle the kid on the far side, break his concentration, if you will. It'll help. If he can do it, it might be to his advantage.
Look at Taurus move in football. That'd be encroachment. Offside. Did he jump the light? Did he red light? Well, Taurus takes the victory. But we'll have to wait for the official judgment here. Taurus may have red lighted.
What? John Moore was playing mind games. Did he get the kid? I don't know.
I thought you said they drained the swamp.
They did. Almost all of it.
Let's look again. Now watch Taurus. The upper right hand of your screen bobbles just a bit. Has some movement.
He burped the throttle, but I believe the ruling is going to be that he didn't. It wasn't his advantage. He may just have lunged a little.
Well, there's the margin of victory, and indeed we're now being told that it was not a red light. It was a legal start for Eldon DEPEW in Taurus. So the pickup truck beats out the Ford Bronco, and there once again is the margin of victory as they cross the finish line, and almost over on his nose is John Moore.
Well, he almost high-sided that little rascal.
And now we take a look at Boss Gator, another Ford pickup truck, an older style with Jimmy Harrington out of LaBelle, Florida. And he goes up against, look at this, snake fight. Oh, this seems like his part of the country right out of the swamp.
He loves it, and he has been playing it to a hilt all weekend long. The snake fang wave and all that stuff. And you know something else? The crowd's starting to like this guy. They're really getting behind him.
As a villain, I think, but now the crowd loves him.
Well, whatever
look at this.
Yeah, whatever he's doing is working. I noticed he's got the name of a national sponsor on the side and a flag on the back, so somebody's really liking him.
You know, the way he drives, the way he acts reminds me of an old song, if you don't happen to like it, deal me out, thank you, kindly pass me by. He does his own thing. He dances to his own tune.
But the bottom line is he's going to the next round, and that's what this sport's all about, Gary.
So Colt Cobra in the snake bite pickup truck will advance. Boss Gator goes back to the trailer. I tell you, these fans are very enthusiastic. The weather very hospitable. And here's a guy who says, hey, welcome to my state. This is Wayne SMOZANEK in Tropical Thunder. He's out of Jupiter, Florida. What famous actor?
I got it. Burt Reynolds.
Yes, Burt Reynolds. And there's the Carolina Crusher with Gary Porter. Here is a guy that's really come into his own the past couple of seasons.
He has. He's brought a lot of people into the sport. He's an asset to the sport. But right now, he's just one half of this race. And the kid out of Jupiter, Florida, his sponsors here, he wants to do good for him. Tropical Thunder, Carolina Crusher. You know the Florida people got to be pulling for the guy on the far side. He leads with him.
That's about all he can do. Look at the horsepower as Gary is able to clear that last line of cars.
During the first interview, Andy Brass told us the trick to this track. It's the right lane and clearing the final set of cars so you don't kick the rear suspension up. That's exactly what Gary Porter did. Porter is going to be a player. Watch the replay's going to come up, and you can see him. It's like an airplane. He flies over. You know, nothing can hurt you when you're in the air like that.
But with the technology, though, of these trucks, for the guys to be competitive, they have to have the new style suspension, which allows the truck to settle down with the first starting jump.
Absorb the energy.
Apply the throttle, get the horsepower to the ground. Well, the fans love it, and, of course, the drivers love to be here with them. We're coming back. Stay with us.